Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth, because I'm happy.
Tony, I hate that song.
I probably sang it wrong. Do you not like that Pharrell Williams song? It's meant to be a happy song.
It is forced happiness, isn't it, Tony? It's just telling us that we have to be happy. No, we like happy songs that don't tell us we have to be happy.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. When I first heard that song, I was like, okay, this is cool. I like Pharrell Williams, and it seemed kind of catchy, but it was so overplayed.
Yeah.
And you saw some annoying YouTubers dance. I think I saw one lady was dancing on the plane with it, and just like
God,
a
I hate
video.
all that. But on the contrary, because that's obviously Pharrell, there was another really overplayed Pharrell song. Do you remember Get Lucky that he did with Daft Punk?
Yeah.
And that actually is really good.
What's it about? Getting lucky? Is it? Wait. Is that for us to get lucky to win the lottery?
Yes, I think it was all about our lottery journey.
Yeah.
But this all comes together because getting lucky makes you happy.
Yeah.
And that is our topic of the week this week, Tony. It is, I believe, World Happiness Day this week. It
certainly is, Chris. And it got me thinking that this is such an apt topic. But it's called, International Day of Happiness. And I know last week we talked about International Women's Day.
Yeah.
But we are a global podcast, Chris.
We very much are.
And we've got listeners from so many different countries. We are pretty much international, really. But it's something that kind of bonds us all together when we think about it. It's like, what does everybody want in this world?
Sex, food.
Yes, and that. But like, how does sex make you feel?
Self-loathing.
What do you think it makes other people feel?
Self-loathing?
Oh, okay. Maybe you're not having the right type of sex.
No, I'm kidding. I tell you what, it's all about happiness.
Yes, everybody wants happiness.
That's
right?
what we want day in, day out.
Yeah, and why do we want to win the lottery?
To make ourselves happy.
Yes, and I
Stop the self-loathing.
Stop the self-loathing, and I do believe that money does bring happiness to a certain extent. And I know there is that big kind of, how would I describe it? It's almost like this saying where people say that money doesn't bring happiness. And I would say that I think if I didn't have enough money to pay my bills and to have somewhere to live,
you'd be unhappy.
I would be unhappy.
It's not the cure to your maladies, let's put it that way, but it sure as hell helps along the way because it gives you the freedom, which is what we're going to touch on later, to be able to do what you need to do and want to do. And that in turn makes you happy.
Definitely. And I think maybe having money buys you a different set of problems. You know, it's the idea that, yes, there are rich people that commit suicide. And you'd be like, why is this person... Are we... I actually still don't know. Okay, do people actually believe that he committed suicide?
Not me.
Okay. So it's an inside job of some sort.
And speaking of rich people's suicide, where is Kate Middleton? I take that back.
No, she's fine.
I take that back. I'm sure she's absolutely fine.
If you do want to talk about... I'm just like, where is Prince William in this?
Did you not see the video of him the other day? He went to Wrexham football ground.
Oh, yeah.
And somebody shouted. He looked happy enough. They shouted over to him, "William, where's Catherine?" And he looked quite concerned and he sped up and walked away. Why not just say, "Oh, she's fine. She's recovering at home"?
He should have done a Will Smith.
People... What? Decked them? Well,
then he goes, "Keep my wife's name out of your mouth." Gone up there and just gone whack.
Whack, slap.
Yeah. And that's a man defending his wife.
That kind of was. Or was it a pathetic man defending his own honour because his wife was cheating on him?
Oh, this is deep.
We don't know.
I'm not going to say anymore because I don't want to get slapped.
No.
Yeah, that's what I would
He'd slap you right down, wouldn't he?
I'm sure it's quite complicated what's going on through that. And, relationships, with your other half or, these are actually quite important relationships that actually add to whether you're happy
Happiness.
or not. Being in a relationship, just because you're in one, doesn't mean that you're actually happy.
No.
So that's another thing that we could potentially explore. But, when you talk about music, you talk about Pharrell Williams. What other happy songs do you actually like?
That's a really good question. I know there's one that you love, Tony, which is Walking on Sunshine.
Yes.
But yeah, I think, you can go back to some of those 80s anthems that just really make you happy. Madonna.
Which one would you...
I don't
Holiday.
know, any of them. No, I probably do like A Prayer. That's my favourite Madonna song.
Is that a happy song, though?
I don't know, it makes me happy. That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
music,
yeah.
It doesn't have to be a song named Happy.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know, it could just be any song you like.
Would you judge me if I liked a song by an artist and the song does have the word happy in it?
A little bit, yeah. What is it?
Because I still like R. Kelly's music, but I know that's not cool because that song...
Now,
Happy
let
People.
me just say that is a great song. And the other one that makes me really happy is Ignition Remix by R. Kelly.
Or what about Bump and Grind? Okay, let's just say that. Are we still saying from what he's done that his music's no longer good?
It's, by the way, let me just say, this is a really important moral debate of can you separate the artist from their work? Because if you go back through the annals of history, you're going to find all sorts of characters who were fantastic artists.
Yeah.
And we love their body of work, but actually they did things that we would deem questionable.
Yeah, and, I'm actually... it's still good music. I probably won't now, considering what's been what's come to light about R. Kelly, that I probably won't shout from the rooftops, oh yeah, put R. Kelly on or whatever. But that's
a shame we'll never hear Ignition Remix in a club again.
Depends what type of club, I guess. No, like a cool, those kind of underground R&B.
Yeah, I thought you meant Epstein's Island. Prince Andrew probably has it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, shoot, I take that back. I take that back as well.
That's why I never step. Do you still go to Pizza Express?
I wouldn't ever go there.
Okay.
I wouldn't even think about it.
Because it goes back to the thing about, like, there's no such thing as bad advertisement or bad PR, right?
Yeah.
Ever since you mentioned about being in a Pizza Express in Woking.
Oh, you go there all the time?
I don't go to Woking, but I'm like, I just check out Pizza Express because I just think, it's if royal people go there, it must be good, right?
Yeah.
It's not
Is there
half
any
bad,
proof
actually.
he actually went there?
Well, he said he did, so he seems like a man of his word.
He does.
Right, if we move on to segment 1, which is last Saturday's lotto result, what was the jackpot? So the jackpot amount was 7.5 million. What were the winning numbers? They were 11, 16, 18, 35, 44, 45, and the bonus ball was 51. Machine name was Lancelot. He's back again. And ball set 9.
Good to see him back again.
Yep, he is sticking around. So he's actually, can you say dethroned? No, he's like Guinevere.
Yeah, he's dethroned Guinevere.
Which isn't great during International
Women's Day.
Yeah, he should be more
but
considerate.
it's International Day of Happiness for Lancelot.
Yeah. So what were my numbers? So it was 5, 7, 23, 33, 45, and 54. We matched one number, which I believe is the 45. But that's how far we got. So, back to the drawing board, I'm afraid, Chris.
Fine. I'm feeling in good spirits. I know that we're on a journey, and we've just got to keep going.
We've got to be happy. We've got to be happy.
How many times have I told you, the road to happiness isn't a straight line.
Yeah.
There are ups, there are downs, and you got to take the rough with the smooth, Tony.
That is so true. That is so true, Chris. So we're happy now. We just want to be even more happier.
We want to be as happy as Larry. But, Tony, I've got to say, we have had all kinds of missives sent into the show in the last week. You can find us online on Instagram, Win Me the Lottery, YouTube, Win Me the Lottery, TikTok, Win Me the Lottery, or you can email us
at tony.win.lotto@gmail.com.
Rita has got in touch by email, and this one just caught my attention this week. So Rita said, I send my daughter to private school. My husband and I had a drunken night with one of my daughter's friend's parents. Now, when I read that, I was thinking, where's this going?
Swinging? No, sorry.
It could have been. We learned they are paying the school for their daughter to get favourable grades. I don't agree with it, and I'm looking at whether I should send my daughter to state school or just homeschool her. It just shows all the money in the world can't buy you what you need. And I think Rita, we're calling her Rita for the purposes of this email, to protect her anonymity. But I think she's been listening to some of the past episodes where we've explored this idea of you win the lottery, you've got all the money in the world. Does that bring you happiness? Which we'll touch on again today. But yeah, I mean, isn't that shocking? You know, private schools, you send your kids to a place like that and you think, okay, you know, you've sorted. And then you find out that corruption is as rife as that. Tony, the only thing I'd say here is, does this actually impact your daughter at all? Because if it's your daughter's friend and they're paying to get her favourable grades, it doesn't mean that your daughter's getting worse grades, does it?
No, I would say in the long run, the parents of the daughter that is paying to get the grades, she's going to lose out because she's not going to be studying. She's not going to have the knowledge, right? She's just walking into top grades where the other one who's not paying for it has to earn it.
Yeah.
However, what kind of grades are they paying for? GCSE grades?
I don't know. It doesn't say. Rita,
how much do you reckon they're paying? Are they getting the idea like, oh, maybe we should?
I mean, private school is damn expensive in general, isn't it?
Depends which one.
Tens of thousands.
I know
even for rubbishy ones.
Isn't like Eton like, what is it? Like 45k a year or 70? I can't remember. I remember seeing some type of stat.
Well, I was chatting to a friend of ours, Tony, who we know well, who we won't name on the podcast. And she was saying that to send her kids to private school, they did look at it just out of interest.
Oh,
it was tens of thousands per term.
Oh, yeah. But you know what? It's... You'd only send your kid to... What do you call it? Is it public or private? Just say private for ease.
Let's just say private, because people get confused.
Okay, it's private where you're paying for elite education, right? Small, smaller classes. You know, maybe it's boarding school, whatever. It's for the people that have money and rich. Some people might argue that I've seen it as well. When you go past secondary school, you go to sixth form, college. You end up mingling with the people that went to private school, and those were state schools, right? And some of them, you have that dedicated learning where, you've got smaller classes, they teach you other stuff, but then you're hanging around, that elite group, isn't it? Yeah. You're kind of schmoozing, right? And a lot of the time...
Mingling,
parents are in quite high-powered positions.
Yeah.
And it kind
of... It's a network for the rest of your life.
That's the word I was looking at. It's networking.
Yeah.
So, I guess it is an investment in that regard. Network.
No, you're absolutely right. That's probably the main benefit. You meet these people when if you do well in state school and you end up in uni in a decent one, you'll probably meet a lot of these people, but maybe you're not in the network, if you see what I mean. That could be the difference.
Definitely. But I think I think the parents of the daughter who isn't getting paid for her grades, they should feel proud of what their daughter achieves because she did it all by herself.
Yeah, she's actually put in more effort, and she's probably going to come out of this with more knowledge anyway by the end of it.
Yeah, and I think in the long run...
And at least she knows that if your daughter doesn't end up getting as good grades, you know the options there, that you can start bunging the staff as well.
Yeah, or just be smart and just save that money for like A-levels or something. Because those are the grades that really get into university.
Or even for uni.
Yeah.
So that was it. But Tony, I've had other people getting in touch, and this one's actually been huge. We've had loads of people who've been DMing us and emailing us about the lottery chaos that is happening at the moment. And we did touch on this last week, that punters are still struggling to claim winnings from the new lottery operator, Allwyn. So do you remember we did touch on this last week, that some people had found it a bit more difficult to get their winnings after getting involved, but it's still ongoing. Paul Simpson, 69, spent weeks chasing his £800 prize from a Hot Picks ticket. Eventually he was sent a cheque, but it bounced. TSB told him this cheque wasn't paid because of a suspected fraud counterfeit cheque within the clearing cycle. What's that about then?
Sorry, I did laugh a bit because I saw the face of the first guy. He looked really sad.
Here he is again. You can let this out.
All I would say is that I'm going to give all win the benefit of the doubt. When you overtake, when they took over Camelot, right? So there's going to be teething problems, right? When they're trying to figure out, let's just sure the process is fine. Like we have these kind of compliance, regulatory things that they need to follow. And they're going to be a bit strict about giving away the money. They're just going to make sure it's legit.
And it's not as if they actually bought out the previous operator when it was all fine with. Oh, wait, they did.
Wait, they bought the whole thing?
Yeah, they won the license and then bought out Camelot.
Maybe you got disgruntled employees at Camelot are just kind of down tools and just left it, and people are like, what's going on here?
Maybe they want to protect Lancelot and Guinevere, machine names.
Yeah.
But Mr. Simpson from Leicester said, I feel like a criminal. Their procedures are chaotic and feel like a con. I won't ever play that game again. If you win, it's like they want to wear you down, so you just give up or lose your ticket. Meanwhile, Graham Crera has spent 5 weeks chasing the £800 prize for getting 3 numbers on 7th of February. Carpenter, Mr. Crera of Notting Hill, said, they are just dragging their heels and it's made me feel like I've done something wrong. Never mind all win. They should be called no win. We just have to say, Tony, if anyone from All Win is listening, we want to clarify all of this. We welcome you onto the show to clear it all up. But Amelia Barnum as well, 69 of Hammersmith, had an investigator sent to her house by All Win. That's the one we talked about.
Oh, right.
Last week, they replaced Camelot as the National Lottery operator on February the 1st. Mind you, if you live in Notting Hill or Hammersmith, do you need this cash prize?
That's true if you own a house there.
They might not be. They might be in social housing. We don't know.
That's true. What I would say is this is making me a little bit worried because if they're going for all this faff 800 quid, when we win the millions, we'll be waiting for a considerably
Well, we're
going to
kick up a huge fuss.
Yeah.
Because we've got a global podcast behind us.
And you know what? They can verify it by going, look, if you listen to last week's podcast, we tell what numbers we're going to buy.
Yeah, we publicise.
So it's legit. Yeah, so they'll be like,
publicise it for them.
Yeah, so we are completely upfront. We're completely transparent.
Yeah. So
okay, we're fine then.
But yeah, if you want to get in touch and share your issues with the lottery at the moment, please do. Win Me the Lottery on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, or you can email us on
tony.win.lotto@gmail.com. Great, thanks for that update, Chris. I mean, I think that's quite important.
That is integral.
To share. And yeah, do keep us updated.
Thank you.
If we move on to topic of the week, Chris. So what is our topic of the week again?
Topic of the week, which this week is International Day of Happiness, which I believe, Tony, is on Wednesday, 20th of March.
That is correct. So that looks like that is the official International Day of Happiness. But I actually do disagree with that day.
Is that because you're happy?
Yeah, and I think International Day of Happiness
every day
should... Exactly.
Yeah.
It should be every day.
Yeah, I teased you a bit there, but yeah, it should be happy every day.
But we do live in the harsh reality of life, Chris, and that is not the case, is it?
Well, it's just like I said. I'll say it again. Everybody's journey is never in a straight line. You have ups, you have downs, you have zigzags.
Yeah.
1 minute you're in the pits of despair. Yeah. The next day, the most glorious thing happens to you.
That is true.
Didn't I say this last week or the week before? I said, think about the happiest things that ever happened to you in your life, everybody.
Yeah.
And then think back to the night before or the week before. Maybe you're in a really foul mood. You might have snapped at a loved one.
And then the next week...
And the next week, you're happy as Larry. Best moment of your life.
Maybe we need to have something catastrophic happen to us for us to win the lottery next week.
And it's likewise with the things that you really aren't looking forward to. Quite often they end up to actually be quite good.
I think a lot of people can relate to this is when they don't look forward to a movie. They're like, I don't want to watch this. And then they watch it. I'm like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Maybe because your expectations are kind of...
I think, which is a slightly different topic. It's more of a psychological thing. But yeah, I think we should be happy every day. And I think we're going to touch on this. You know, I'm going to speak in a few minutes about what the data says.
Okay.
And kind of positivity, gratitude, things like that are actually a key part of what makes you happy or gives you happiness.
Yeah, so, I mean, if I just the first source I like to go to is the official
You always do.
International Day of Happiness.
Yep.
So I'm just like, I want to get this right so people understand what this is all about. But I think it's quite self-explanatory.
Yeah.
But let's see.
And it's a UN thing, right? It's a United Nations thing.
Yeah. And I think that is the ultimate goal, really. It's how do we ensure that people around the world are happy? So it says on the homepage, it says happier together. At this time of uncertainty and conflict, this year's Happier Together theme reminds us that lasting happiness comes from feeling connected to others and being part of something bigger. It makes you realise sometimes, Chris, that we are a bit shielded from a lot of bad things that happen around the world. There are wars, there are conflicts, but throughout all this, where can we find some nuggets of happiness, or can we look more positively into the future? And is there anything that we can do to support other people around us? To go, look,
are you happy right now?
Yeah,
it's okay not to be okay.
And what is causing your unhappiness? And the great thing about this website is that there is a lot of free resources on this website. So it's dayofhappiness.net. They've even got live community events. They even have a 10-day happiness challenge where you can learn and share new daily habits for happier living. Action calendar. So a lot of these things is that sometimes you need to take action. And there's a framework that they share on how to do that. So if I could just go from the top, Chris,
please.
It goes, what can you do?
Yeah.
So that they said here are 4 simple positive actions you can take to connect with others and help build a happier and stronger community. So give positive comments to as many people as positive today.
Yeah.
You are amazing, Chris.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Why?
Because you are sitting right next to me, Chris, and that's amazing.
Shallow. You haven't actually given me a single good reason why. You've got to say something like, I really like your hair today. Or just like, your beard looks really good.
So you have to be genuine. I have to be kind of specific.
What you said a few minutes ago was really funny. It can't be generic stuff. It has to be really specific.
Okay, that black...
Your glasses are amazing. It really matches your shirt today.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
That black jumper you're wearing, Chris, really matches your personality.
Thank you. Thank you. It matches this podcast. It's like going to a funeral.
No, it's classy because black goes with everything.
It does.
The next thing is that really listen to what people say without judging them. So
that's hard to do.
Something for you to work on. Well, for everyone to work on. Share an encouraging news story to inspire others. I mean, we share quite a lot of news stories, don't we? So some of them are encouraging.
Yeah, I think today many of them are.
So that big tick. Another thing that sometimes, there might be some people that you probably lose in contact with. When you leave jobs or you leave school and then you kind of go your separate ways. But maybe it's time to reach out to a friend, family member or colleague for support. Sometimes people just need a message on WhatsApp to go hey, just checking in, how you doing?
So we're supporting them?
Yeah.
So you just reach out, hey mate, how's it going?
Yeah. Because we talked about altruism and stuff, you get the feeling of happiness by helping others.
No, and you're absolutely right. I loved it. I think, let's go through it. Positive comments, 100%.
Yeah.
I think I do listen to people without judging them. Encouraging news stories, probably something I could do more of. Mm-hmm. And I love this idea to reach out to people that maybe you've just lost touch with a little bit and just ask them how they are. Yeah,
so it's, I think would you get offended if someone reached out to you just to check out how you're doing? I wouldn't.
I think no, I wouldn't. But if I hadn't spoken to them in years and they sort of came to see me and to say, are you okay mentally? I'd be like, well, what's the context here? But, they just reach out and say, how you doing, mate? Oh, I'd love that. Yeah.
Because I was in a recent awkward situation where I heard from, again, this in the industry that I work in, we work with some kind of mutual suppliers, and I heard that another friend of mine that I used to work with, I said, oh, do you know this person? And they don't work there anymore for whatever reason.
Had they died?
No. They just, whatever happened, I don't know the details.
But have you reached out?
Yeah, I did.
Nice.
I was like... I heard this happen. And I was like, would they appreciate that message? I was like, I just want to see if you're okay. Or they'll feel a bit awkward about the whole thing. No. Because you don't know how it transpired.
And how did they respond?
Quite succinctly, I guess, and short. Maybe, they're going through some stuff. But anyway, I always think it always.
Okay, yeah, we won't dig into that one, but
I'll just say, still go for it. You always have, as long as you've got good intentions in your heart, there's nothing wrong with it. I had a question for you, Chris. If I was to ask you right now, what makes you happy?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that, Tony. And I'd actually let the data do the talking first and foremost, as I always do.
Yeah.
So I've got some studies that tell us, and let's go through these, Tony, because we say, does this work for us? The data says these are the things that make people the most happy. And it's in no particular order. These are just the top ones. Relationships and social connections, health and well-being, financial security,
big one,
meaningful work, freedom and autonomy, work-life balance, optimism and positive thinking, nature and environment, gratitude and mindfulness, and finally, community and belonging. So let's just say something about that. I think for me, we touched on it for relationships, social connections, for sure. Everybody, we're social creatures, aren't we? We're social animals. Health, yes. I think it's one of those, you don't know what you've got till it's gone. If we suddenly were struck down with a debilitating condition, our world is upside down. Financial security, we talked about it. You need that money to have financial freedom, which leads on to freedom and autonomy. And I think freedom and autonomy is huge for me. I really do. And, you go back to lockdowns. Remember when we were trapped inside? That affected me in the end because we didn't have that freedom.
It's funny you said some people actually enjoyed being inside.
You loved it, didn't you?
Some people loved it. Some people hate it. It depends on what type of personality you are. I totally get the relationships. And health and well-being is a big one. When you get older, if you've got an ailment and you're in constant pain...
it's not worth it anymore. You're not happy.
You're not going to be happy.
Let's talk about Schumacher. Michael Schumacher. Yeah. That poor guy is a vegetable in a bed. He can't move, talk, do anything. Paralysed. Yeah. But apparently he can respond and he has some sort of cognitive abilities. If he can actually think, then that is the worst crime that they could possibly do against Michael Schumacher. And maybe it serves him right for all of those dirty manoeuvres he used to take out.
So are you a fan
of... dirty driver.
So you believe in euthanasia?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Okay,
I do. I believe in euthanasia. And if that were me, I would just say, please get rid of me. That is not a life worth living. Let's not be ridiculous. Let's not just prolong people's lives for the sake of it.
I have to agree with you, Chris.
Let's have critical thinking.
I have to agree with you, Chris. Yeah, I'd say just...
Yeah, thank you.
Just put me out of my misery so I can turn into a leaf.
Yeah. Yeah, well, there you go. Paganism. Yeah. But the other thing is optimism and positive thinking. I'm a big believer in that.
Manifesting,
as we said. And then nature and environment as well. I mean, all of these are important. All of them. I mean, gratitude is kind of linked to that positive optimism. Nature and environment, getting back out. Paganism's like you said. Do you like that? Do you sort of... I mean, you're a city guy because you grew up in the city as well, whereas for me, grew up outside of the city at least.
To be honest, I do understand when people do that whole thing where like they need to go for a walk in the park or they need to get away into countryside to clear their head and they feel rejuvenated or whatever. I get it. I think I don't necessarily need it for myself. Like I'm happy just to lose myself in a TV show or something like that. But the other points of questions, like financial security is a big one. That's why we're doing this podcast. But I would say that I could probably get by with not doing meaningful work if it gave me financial security. Yeah. What would be the trade-off for you? Do you have to do something meaningful?
No. Yeah. It depends how you define meaningful work. Some people define that as you're giving back, and that's what we're going to come on to in a moment.
Yeah.
Other people can just find that as something that interests them.
Yeah, I think you have to get some satisfaction. Yeah. Like, could you count jelly beans in a white room?
No.
For like 6 figures a year?
For 6? Well, now you're making it... Well, this is what it's... I've worked in uni in summers in a warehouse for a well-known fashion brand on minimum wage.
Yeah.
And that was awful because I wasn't earning a lot of money and it was very boring. But if they, 10x'd, well, not even 10x'd, 1000x my wage,
Yeah.
suddenly it might be a lot less boring.
Some people actually couldn't do it. They wouldn't be there like, no, I'll be too bored. I just wasn't.
To be honest, I just wasn't very good at it either. I'm much better just sitting behind the desk or engaging with people than I was in a warehouse.
But I feel like
picking and packing clothes.
You need to engage with people. You couldn't be by yourself in a white room counting jelly beans 8 to 10 hours a day.
No, probably not. You think you could? You seriously think you could?
I could do it. If someone willing to offer me 6 figures to do that,
yeah,
I'm your man.
What's the minimum you take to do it?
1 figure. Joking, right? It's got to be, it's got to be a decent wage. It's just job basically. Yeah. If I had the option to do the job I'm doing now to like count jelly beans for the same money, I'll probably choose jelly beans.
No, I don't believe you.
You'd be surprised. This is an interesting list, and I think this all makes sense. I think it would be quite interesting to say, which one you would prioritize. Though is the idea. I think health has got to come first because you can have all the stuff, but if you are in pain and you are actually
health.
I don't know, really have bad health. I think what's quality of life?
Yeah,
really bad.
If we force rank it, I think health, and then probably actually like relationships, social connections. For me, because it doesn't mean much if you haven't got anybody to share it with. And then I might, then is it financial or is it freedom? I think it's financial. I think they're linked. That's why we talk about financial freedom. Yeah. I think in many ways you can give yourself a bit of freedom by having that financial security. But of course, many other people say, what are you talking about, Chris? Yeah. Your freedom comes way disconnected from money.
I think this actually goes... A great example of this is that you could be working a really good job or you could be a CEO, right?
Yeah.
You are financially free because you're earning millions. If you're top, like FTSE 100, FTSE 250, if you'd say, you're financially free. If you have quite a basic, not even basic lifestyle, you're not blowing your money like crazy. You're earning at least $1 million a year. You could work a couple of years and you're financially free. But for freedom and autonomy, you got to report to the board.
Yeah.
And the idea of that's why people set up their own businesses or they do freelance because they're their own boss, right? And they can choose on when they want to work. Yeah.
You've just got to think it through. And to be honest, that can be one of the most stressful jobs. If you're a CEO, you might, if you or I could quit our day job tomorrow.
Yeah.
If you're a CEO, it's not always that easy.
You've got to get out of a year's notice.
Yeah, you're going to have to see it out. And it's incredibly stressful. So you're in the arena and you've got to fight. And you've got to stay in the arena. But I think that's good advice for anybody anyway.
I could grind out for 2 years and then call it a day.
Yeah.
But these very high-powered people who get these roles, clearly very smart, very driven, from whatever reason their position comes to an end, whether their choice or not their choice, they still seek another position at that level. It's quite interesting that it still drive. They still have a thirst or drive to
the adrenaline.
Yeah, to work in these very intense roles.
But Tony, before we come back to that point I was mentioning earlier, that kind of giving back versus satisfying yourself, what about you? What makes you the most happy? We've gone through this list, but
yeah, I mean, there's so many
personal
things.
To you.
I was going to say FIFA originally, but it makes me also very unhappy when I lose.
Yeah, it's therapeutic though, right? Gets the anger out.
It's, how to say it, it's almost sadistic at times, and also very fulfilling when you win.
Do you ever throw the controller at the wall?
Oh, so many times. I've almost like I bent it to break it, but I was like, oh, no, I don't want to spend...
Have you actually?
No, I never broken it.
Yeah,
I felt like I wanted
but you have thrown it against the wall?
No.
Or thrown it on the sofa?
Yeah, I kind of like gone to front and then just thrown it softly.
See, I did it once where I did throw it on the sofa.
Yeah.
And it bounced off the sofa and hit the wall.
Did it break?
It's just a very small dent, which I filled in on the wall.
But in all seriousness, I did have something that always comes to mind. And what makes me happy, and it goes back to relationships, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things that makes me happy is making my mum laugh.
Yeah.
And I think those are just great, great kind of... It's a great feeling, and it's a great situation.
Is it hard earned, or does she laugh at most things you say?
I think.
Is she easy to please or not?
Yeah, I generally think so. Yeah, I think I can do anything silly, and it's just. Yeah, it's just nice.
It's heartwarming.
Yeah, it's heartwarming. It's
And that's giving pleasure. You know, that's what it's all about.
making people laugh. You know, and if you're making yourself
David
happy,
Brent.
you're making them. Yeah. Oh, David, what a classic character! I love him. And I also aspire to one of his goals in actual the UK offices in the series. I remember him speaking to his manager, and his goal was to have this scenario play out for when he actually leaves the office. Was his direct reports to kind of admire him for being their manager, and he had this idea of them saying to him, going, "Oh look, there goes David Brent. I must remember to thank him." He's having this kind of quite this deep impact on people's lives as a manager, which is what I want to have.
He's brilliant, yeah.
Cool. Was there anything else you wanted to add?
Yeah, well, I just come back to that. You know, we spoke about it before, giving back, didn't we? So you've got your two types of pleasure. Your hedonic pleasure. So, you know, if you're a hedonist, you want pleasure for yourself. Sometimes people think this is short term.
Yeah.
Gives you kind of a bit of a reward there and then. Food, part of that.
Yeah.
Travel. Sex.
Yeah.
All those kinds of things. Would you call yourself a hedonist?
Deep down, probably.
Yeah,
Probably
I think all of us are to some extent. I think I am.
Yeah.
I'm always looking for that kind of thrill.
Well, you're running around naked
pleasure.
somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Alcohol is another thing. You know that you're just going to get that short term, but you're going to be hungover tomorrow. So that's, some people are a bit like that. Some people say, well, I'm going to plan forward. Some people say I'm going to live in the moment. And I'm sometimes a bit more like that. But then you have your second pleasure, eudaimonic pleasure, Tony, which lasts longer. And that is all about the greater good, meaningful contributions to the wider world. So that can be in the form of voluntary or charity work, community work, giving back, or just doing something nice to help somebody else out. Like we said, you know, you see somebody, an old girl trying to cross the road, you go and help her.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think there is a lot of gratification from doing that. And I think you remind yourself about, I never heard that word, eudaimonic.
Eudaimonic, yeah. I remember
Which
it
lasts
from
longer.
philosophy in school.
I like the word that I've seen before, where it's a magazine, it's called delayed gratification.
Go on, tell me more.
And I think it just basically the magazine is that they don't cover breaking news, they cover when the story's kind of transpired or what, and then they cover it.
Okay.
So when they get a deeper understanding of the actual topic. But the idea of sometimes it's happiness knowing that you're looking forward to something. I think a holiday is a great example. I'd say is that you've booked it. It's coming up, and then you're the part of the fun and the happiness is that knowing that you're going to go on a holiday, which you're in that scenario now. It's coming to, you're almost going to.
I'm going to be going on holiday, and that's
how
kind
you're feeling right now. You're looking forward to it.
I am.
As soon as you booked it in,
I really am, and it's like that anticipatory utility because you almost get that. If you book a holiday, you get the thrill when you book it, and then you get a later thrill. Same with any kind of experience. You know, that's why experience gifts make the best ones. We've touched on this before.
Yeah.
You get the thrill when you give it, and then you get the thrill when you actually go and enjoy it. Yeah. And then you make the memories that you can look back on for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am. I'm very much looking forward to this trip, Tony, and it does mean this pod. For everybody, I'm telling Tony, you've got to carry this on without me with some guest hosts.
I think I might look into that, Chris.
Just for a few weeks, and then I'll be back. I'll be back in April.
Who knows? You might be winning lotteries elsewhere.
I might have won the Malaysian or Singaporean lottery if we're lucky.
That'd be nice. You can always report back on the podcast.
Yeah.
What you would spend it on.
We'd have to do an emergency pod if I did win.
Just be on the phone.
On the phone, yeah.
Great. Okay, so that was our topic of the week. If we move on to picking next week's numbers, if I begin, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
This one is not a happy story, but there is something that does make me happy, and I started with the word bacon. Who doesn't like some good bacon?
And, you know, What kind of bacon do you like? Streaky or that kind of Danish, British one?
You know what? I don't hate the British bacon. It's all right. But I'm a big fan of the American style.
So I used to be completely
bacon.
the other way around, and my missus has kind of changed my mind because she loves the streaky bacon, and we've started buying the streaky bacon. Taste the difference from Sainsbury's. It's delicious.
Whoa, what's streaky? Is streaky bacon just not? It's not
Yeah,
the big
thinner
round,
one.
The thin one. Yeah. The crispy. Put it in an air fryer. It's amazing.
And that's it. And crispy. I love it really crispy, which is why this story really alarmed me. And I bet this guy wasn't having the streaky one either. Go on, let's hear it.
Okay, so the title of this one is Man's Brain, Tapeworms, and Worsening Migraines Caused by Undercooked Bacon. So I'm going to read that again. Man's Brain, Tapeworms, and Worsening Migraines Caused by Undercooked Bacon. So it seems like this guy has eaten some undercooked bacon and there's basically brain tapeworms in his head.
The doctors couldn't understand what the hell had happened to this guy because he had tapeworm eggs festering in his brain. He had terrible migraines. He consulted the doctors and they were thinking, well, what the hell has happened to this guy? And they finally figured out for years or however long it was.
Yeah.
He was just cooking his bacon for a few seconds.
That is quite scary.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say, if you have migraines, it might be worth getting checked out if you do eat bacon a little bit on the undercooked side. But it's something that I always make sure to wash my salad properly, even though it says it's washed. I mean, there's these things.
And you're very careful, though, aren't you, when it comes to food? Because you've had some bad experiences.
Yeah, I mean, even like steak, I've had some experiences where... Do you ever
really?
eat
Steak?
And they say it's fine, but I had some experience where I didn't feel great after eating it.
Oh, okay.
So, to be safe, you should cook things fully, really. But, just go for extra crispy bacon. That's the best bacon, right? Why would you undercook... Why would you enjoy bacon undercooked?
Moron, this guy.
Yeah.
But yes, he was diagnosed with let's try and say it, neurocystisclerosis or something like that.
Yeah.
Which is a form of infection from larval cysts of the pork tapeworm. So, he hadn't travelled to any high-risk areas or anything like that.
Yeah.
The patient denied eating raw or street food, but admitted to a habit of eating lightly cooked, non-crispy bacon for most of his life.
This guy is a strange... How can you enjoy bacon that's not crispy? That's why I don't like the English bacon.
Yeah, but you can really cook that to a cinder as well.
Yeah.
You do a great job with that. The infection was transmitted via auto-infection after improper hand washing after he had contracted teniasis himself from his eating habits, so from his really lightly cooked bacon.
So this actually makes you think about those people that have a raw diet when they eat raw meat. So that's not going to be good, right?
Not pork.
Yeah. People do have... Okay, for religious reasons, some people don't eat pork, right?
Yeah.
But some people actually...
Their loss.
Yeah, their loss. But some people do actually have certain reservations about eating pork. They go, because pigs are like, they call it dirty swine or whatever.
And they're actually the cleanest animal.
Are they? Are they?
Yeah. Pigs are the cleanest animal.
No.
They self-clean.
The pigsties and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's fake news. I'm sure we spoke about this before. Yeah.
But yeah, so the only thing I would say about that is just make sure you cook your bacon properly. The guy was 52, so that's the number I'm going with for my first one.
And another happy story next.
Yeah, and this is actually about financial security and stability.
Yeah.
So
we're trying to make the world a happier place by warning people about some of the problems.
Yeah, and this is not to judge or anything like this. This is the current climate that we're in. And so the story here is that nearly 50% of US parents financially support adult children study fines. So it looks like in the US, I mean, things are tough. Not just in the US, also in the UK, look, rents are out of control. It's actually crazy. If you look at places like in
Rents are out
London or New York, San Fran, wherever, especially in these really dense, popular cities, crazy. Food costs go out, bills, everything. So naturally, people that, maybe their tenancy's coming to an end and they can afford it then, they need to move. And
suddenly
the
they've put it up. They've put it up. The price is going up 30%.
So based on a survey by savings.com, they found that, young working class Americans were not substantially benefiting from the recovery of the country's economy. I didn't know there was actually a recovery. It seems like things are getting worse. But yeah, there's high employment. I mean, left, right, and centre, you're hearing layoffs all the time. People are struggling to get jobs. Some people are still looking for jobs even a year after they've been laid off. So that's really worrying.
What the hell are they doing?
Applying for jobs. Apparently.
Obviously not well enough.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
But the challenging thing is that the talent pool is a lot more competitive when there's so many layoffs that are happening. But I would say, when they compare between the boomers who had it all, and then you got these kind of Zoomers or Gen Zs, they're starting on the back foot. Whether it's they don't have that much disposable income anyway as a student because things are so expensive. The student loans and the tuition fees are insane.
Yep, so you got to pay that back. Yeah. All you've got to do is just look at the disparity between wage growth and house price increases, rent increases.
It just doesn't compute.
It just doesn't compute. And there needs to be, if I came into government this year, and it looks likely, based on the polling, that we're going to have a change of government. The first thing we need to do is help young people, I think, get on the property ladder. Forget about subsidising rent.
Yeah.
Get them on the property. That's how you make your bucks. If you have a scheme where people can buy a property and you support that, and over time, because the thing is, you get richer the older you get. So by the time you're older, you can easily pay back. Why don't we have, and I'm not a huge fan of the student loan system now, student loans for buying a house? Where over time you pay back based on your salary.
Oh, that's interesting. But they have the LISA thing, which is, it's not great.
It's rubbish. Yeah, it's Let's be completely honest. That is fine. I actually used it myself. And they top up 25%, but it's not a lot. The house prices are
going up, so
it's crazy. Not a huge amount. I can't even remember what the max you can put in, but it's not that high.
Can I play devil's advocate here?
Yeah.
Why don't young people stop eating avocado toast and
getting
oat
lattes? Yeah. Well, that's what they say, isn't it? Which would cost, an avocado toast? How much an avocado?
Let's just say it's 10 quid. I mean, it's barely going to make a dent on anything.
Yeah.
You can have,
we can do the maths, and it doesn't make.
You make an interesting point, like some type of payment plan that actually is aligned to your side. But
I would say,
it sounds too easy, but it's not.
I think, and you've got to set rules around it because we can't, you can't just hand that out to everybody. But let's say you went, I don't want to make this patriarchal or whatever, but patriotic thing I meant.
Yeah.
You're British. You were born in the UK or something.
Okay.
Because and then anybody could come in and use this scheme. But maybe we shouldn't say that. I don't know, that might be wrong. But let's say you went to uni or college or whatever in the UK. And now you qualify for the scheme that the government will subsidise you buying your first house, help you get a mortgage, blah, 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 blah. And then you can repay some of that deposit or whatever it is. Something like that, Tony. I don't know.
I mean,
comes out of your wages.
It does come to this important point because it depends where you want to live. Like I think everyone wants to live in London, right? I think there's a reality.
Well, not everyone.
Not everyone. Yeah. So
a lot of people do.
I think it's making that adjustment as well. But even so, like that, it's just very expensive. I don't know how people are going to get on the property ladder. Really, the young people are coming.
Well, London, it's just incredible, and it's gone up quite significantly since, 2019, 2020, since COVID.
So what do you need? You need an OnlyFans. You need all types of YouTube.
Make you a fortune. Yeah. But I do think this is a great scheme, great idea. Student loans, they need to decrease the amount. So that will help with that. I mean, $9,000 is just. There's a funding crisis for universities.
Yeah.
We've got to start thinking about, ways that the government can support. Same with public transport. I don't want to turn this into a political thing. Rishi, are you blind? Are you totally lost of what the average person needs and how we're going to help this country succeed? We need infrastructure. HS2. He's scrapped HS2.
Yeah, I know you're so passionate about it. I mean, is that
Oh,
definitely dead?
this guy, honestly, and I'm not, let's not make it political, but what is he doing, this guy?
He could probably fund
He
it
is
himself.
hopeless.
His wife could fund it.
His wife could fund it overnight.
Can I just make a point about, you mentioned about student loans, especially in the US, and the idea of them actually wiping it out and going like, I don't agree with that. And I tell you why.
Yeah.
I don't think it's fair because people who have an education, like a degree, they sound like people that don't have a degree, they are working minimum wage jobs so they can pay their taxes to subsidise your education to end up getting a better job so you can earn more. That's not fair.
Yeah.
That's not fair.
I think the issue is just, well, you make a good point in a way. You make a very good point. And the UK, the thing we're in the UK is, I think the UK has like the highest proportion of students or graduates, let's say. So a lot of people choose to take that route.
Yeah.
So it's more of a thing here. But yeah, you could make the argument of why should the government subsidise university when some people don't want to go at all?
Yeah, and I would just say that some of these, in the US, it's more apparent because it's insane, some of the tuitions. And you choose to go to a private college or what they call community college. Yeah. Some people have an idealized view of like, oh, I want to go to this top university and study this, and I'll just pay six figures for it without understanding the implications, where people are a bit smarter going, look, I can't afford this. I've got to look at going to community college and still get my degree this way.
So what is there's no easy answers to it. People say graduate tax instead of a student loan, but that means you're just paying that tax for the rest of your life.
Yeah, and this is why we've got our plan, winning the lottery.
Yes.
That is the plan. So 50% of US parents financially supporting adult children, and 50 is the number I'm going with. Cool. Talking about education, so the last one that I've got is about... What's middle school actually in the US?
Is that junior school? I think you say, obviously you got your infant school, your middle... I don't know.
They're like teenagers, essentially.
Young teenagers, late, 9, 10, 11, 12, something like that.
So this story is about Beverly Hills Middle School. And
nice area.
Yeah. Beverly Hills 90210, is that something? So this story is about 5 students actually who were expelled after using deepfake. Is it deepfake AI?
Yeah.
To create nude photos.
Oh my god!
Of some of their students. I was always worried about this stuff because it's so convincing.
I know, and it really is, and it just makes me wonder, Tony, how prevalent this is going to become in schools as things go on. And why aren't people using deepfake for better things? We've spoken about it on the podcast before. Imagine if we got a duet between Elvis and Tupac. That's the sort of thing I want to see deepfake used for.
Yeah.
Not fake images of 16 classmates.
Yeah, so they
nude.
Naked, yeah. I mean, that is... Actually, can you get in trouble because it's not real? No, it is still child. That's still child porn.
Well, let's see what it says because, I don't know if it's officially... It does say no arrests have been made and no charges have been brought.
So the 5 students and their victims were in the 8th grade, whatever age that is.
So year 7, I think, UK.
Yeah, so that's like 11, 12.
Yeah.
16 students were targeted. And, they quote here that this incident has spurred crucial discussions on ethical use of technology, including AI. Again, that is a big deal right now. Underscoring the importance of vigilant, informed engagement within digital environments. So, if you receive something, I would say that if you receive a naked video or image of someone that you've got to question if that is actually legitimate. It could be AI, right, to try and smear them. But this is actually... I guess this isn't new because kids before used to use Photoshop, didn't they?
Yeah.
To actually, Photoshop someone's face on something silly or a body. But this is probably next level, isn't it?
This is next level. Yeah. You just say, look, paint this photo. But I don't know, where do we get this software from?
I'm sure if you
it's not an open AI.
It doesn't actually say, but forced me to see it. Because there's some very convincing, when they use actors' face and they're talking, you're like, oh my God.
They've done it with politicians as well. And that's where it could get worrying that they just fake a politician saying something. But yeah, let's get that duet, Elvis and Tupac. But yeah, I tried to do it on OpenAI, ChatGPT, just to bring to life a really cool scene with a photo even of myself and my missus. But it's not allowed to represent, it's in their terms of use. Oh. So the DALL-E image generator on there, and I think most of the mainstream ones won't do it because of the ethical and privacy concerns.
So did you try and type, make us look happy?
Yeah, I said make us look happy in a really great, happy setting. And speaking of happy moments, Tony, obviously the news and numbers that you saw weren't happy at all.
Yeah. So that last one was 5.
That was 5, because it was 5 students expelled, wasn't it? I went for happy news. And this first one's not that happy, but weddings are happy occasions, right?
They certainly are.
Mackie D's always makes you happy, doesn't it?
I haven't had one for ages.
And this is actually the reason why I brought this story up. Listen to this. I spent £40,000 on my wedding, but the highlight was a Mackie D's on the way home. And it just made me think of you, because you haven't had a Mackie D's in so long. But this lady spent 40 grand, and her wedding gave her PTSD.
Whoa.
I felt awful about blowing so much cash. Lucinda Rose, she spent 2 grand on her bridal gown, and no expense was spared, right down to the horse-drawn carriage. Despite her wedding costing close to 40 grand, nearly double the UK average, which, by the way, the average is ridiculous as well. Lucinda admits the highlight was the McDonald's she picked up on the way home. So it just snowballed their wedding, and when you look at this wedding, it just looks absolutely crazy. I think they had a big bouncy castle, horse-drawn carriage. We mentioned all sorts of crazy stuff. Look at that massive bouncy castle, a string quartet, and she's just urging other people not to really bother with all of that. They had a hog roast van, ice cream and pizza trucks.
That looks cooked, so it does look undercooked. So no tapeworms in the brain.
No tapeworms, yeah, so that's good news. A hip flask, plus other gifts for the wedding party cost $1,300. So they actually bought gifts for their attendees.
Fair enough.
She's just warning everybody not to blow your money. So this is a point of happiness.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't need to spend 40 grand on your wedding. Maybe you can just go off and have it with the people closest to you that really matter to you. Why do you think it is that people have these big blowout weddings? Do you think it's an ego thing?
I think it is. I think it's them trying to... No, it's your most important
big day.
It's your big day, and you want to celebrate with family. You want to have a nice occasion, right? But... Good food. Are you saying that people wouldn't like McDonald's? I think a lot of people like McDonald's.
I think I wouldn't. But if it were KFC, let's say it's KFC, if somebody just got a massive order from KFC, I'd be really happy with that.
Yeah, definitely.
If anything, I think that's better than some of the rubbishy wedding food that we often get.
Would you say that he's punching above his weight?
The groom?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's just see them again.
Because I think he should be happy.
Because he's happy. Yes. Yeah. He should be very happy. Wow. Is he Scottish? Oh, mind you. No, I think they're on an even.
Oh, right, yeah.
Sorry, I don't want to sound bad, but... Oh, God.
Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah, maybe he is, yeah.
No wonder they went to McDonald's.
Oh.
So I'd say that back. So yeah, next one. And I have been under the weather, by the way, so I'm not responsible for anything I've said on this podcast. So that was number 40.
Yes.
She spent 40 grand. The Loch Ness Monster embroiled in gender battle as new book depicts creature as male. Tony, what do you think about that? So just to give you a little bit of context on what happened there. A new romantic book that's set on the banks of Loch Ness has been written by an American author, but it's caused anger by those who say the monster is being misgendered. So,
Wow, that's new.
a new book portrays Nessie as male. American author Lana Ferguson has penned a new romantic novel, a steamy fantasy romance story called Under Lock and Key, with lock spelled like the Loch Ness. And what happens is the illustration shows a woman on the shore being kissed by a kilted man, and the man's shadow appears to take the shape of the Loch Ness monster. The book's depiction has sparked some outrage, as Nessie appears to be male. Tony.
Well,
I'm just thinking, we've spent years, decades, centuries even, waiting for Nessie to come out. But this brings a whole new meaning to that.
I would say I think there's a trend of actually trying to refresh like stories and just how do you change it up or take a new approach to it? Changing like could there be Little Red Riding Hood? Why couldn't that be a boy?
Oh, bloke, yeah.
Or a man?
Yeah.
Would that change? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like
we did a story the other week, didn't we, of someone who hid behind a sheet pretending he was a woman.
But I don't know. I think it's a bit weird when there was the controversy about the movie Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and the dwarfs weren't dwarfs. Maybe one of them were, and there was a big argument between a dwarf actor saying
Who
that
wanted to be in the film.
but they went a different direction, right? And there's the idea of do you keep it traditional, which is what people want to see the traditional, because of course it's Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
What was the reason they got rid of the dwarves? They thought it was a dwarfist or whatever.
No, they just want to be more inclusive. I think one out of the Seven Dwarfs was dwarf, and the rest I don't know what they were. I think they're changing it up.
Oh,
now.
so they were different kinds of
but they weren't
minority.
dwarfs. Yeah, they would look like normal height people.
Right.
But the thing is that the actual dwarf.
But were they
actor,
minority? Were they sort of
some of them looked.
just?
Yeah, some minorities look. I just saw a little image of it, and Piers Morgan was going off on one. But the dwarf made a good point. Was that as an actor, there's only very few roles where you're at your height of your career where you go, that's a role made for people like me. Because he's not going to be leading a man James Bond, is he? At the height of his career, really, unless he's.
He should be.
Why not? Why don't someone make a James Bond or someone who has dwarfism?
The problem is he wouldn't be able to actually drive the Aston Martin without a booster seat.
Well, I
and
guess
then that's going to be inconvenient getting in and out of the booster seat.
But then Q's got a new challenge, right?
Yeah.
So why not?
Yeah.
Right. So James Bond with dwarfism, would that fly? Why not?
I think it should.
Yeah, I think that should.
I think the dwarf would definitely fly if it out of the car. But yes, that was Nessie. But people do ask, I know when tourists go to Scotland to the Loch Ness, they always say, when is Nessie coming out? And they're normally told by the Scots that Nessie comes out after the 6th Scotch.
Oh.
That's the famous joke. So.
I don't get it, Chris. What are they referring to?
What they're saying is when you're absolutely hammered, Nessie comes out. Because you've had 6 whiskies and you're really drunk, so you imagine...
Oh, you're
hallucinating.
Oh,
yeah,
right, gotcha.
exactly. And Scotch being obviously the famous Scottish whiskey.
Right.
But yeah, so we have to wait until December the 3rd to read the book in full.
Pre-order it.
So I've gone with the number 3 on that one, Tony. And then here we go, final one for a few weeks, unless you manage to get a co-host on in my absence. Couple slammed for disgusting act in cinema. Okay, what do you think this was, Tony? So this happened just before a movie kicked off. And it has to be said that people were absolutely furious about it. So we had this TikToker, he recorded it happening. What do you think it was? Yeah, go and see if you can guess.
So something disgusting happened.
Yeah.
I'm assuming someone had diarrhea and was wiping their butthole across all the seats.
That is not it. Although, have you seen that happen before?
No, I just imagined that. Yeah. That could have happened.
Yeah, no, that wasn't it. It's far worse than that. So, what do you think caused this? Naked toes, naked feet, a couple on the same row next to each other at the cinema got their toes out. Thankfully resting on the cinema's special footrest as opposed to the heads of the seats.
Whoa,
Heads of the seats in front, and you can just see them there, the little tootsies out. If anything, for me, if I saw a load of feet out, probably turn me on a bit.
Would you, what if it's right by your face, would you give it a little sniff and lick?
Nibble. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, on TikTok, this is in Australia, in TikTok, people were furious about this. So what do you think? I think we should ask our listeners as well, go out to everybody.
Yeah.
Is it okay? I mean, even right now, my feet are a bit sweaty.
Yeah.
So quite often I'll just go like this. I'll just take off the shoe a little bit, give it some air. Is it okay to have naked feet out? I don't see one. I mean, imagine you're wearing flip-flops.
Yeah, I think it's not bad in that photo in a sense, but I've seen videos or pictures on the plane. Someone's put their foot out that is poking out between the chairs. So
I think they're trying to get a reaction there. And they can smell too. Yeah. And I've seen people sort of picking their toes or cutting their toenails on a plane as well.
Yeah, I think
that's right.
I personally wouldn't be comfortable doing it. I'm like, wow, these people are brave to actually get to do that, because you're going. If you do it to the wrong person, either they're going to get nibbled or this person's going to kick off.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, well, it's giving me an idea now. If I get them out, somebody might start nibbling. But yeah, so we've gone for the number 47 there, and you might ask why I've gone for the number 47. Well, they were watching Dune 2, which is 2 hours and 47 minutes of your life that you will never get back.
So you don't like Dune 2?
I've not watched it.
I hear great things. I hear it's a movie you need to watch in the cinema.
Yeah. Well, you could do it.
Yeah, I need to watch the first one.
Feet out, tootsies out.
Yeah, see what the reaction is. I might be pleasantly surprised or not.
In the Odeon in Finsbury Park. I'm sure you get a good reaction there. Yeah, or Westfield Stratford.
Great. So thank you, Chris. So if I go through the numbers that I will be picking this week in numerical order, it is 3, 5, 40, 47, 50, and 52. So those are going to be the numbers. So maybe we might win it while you're away, Chris.
It would be brilliant. Yeah. Imagine if that happened. And I just wake up, because obviously you've got the time zone difference. Yeah. And I just wake up. I've got a message from Tony.
Yeah.
You have just become a millionaire, Chris.
Can I
Is that how you say it? You say, we've won.
So just to clarify, do you want me to let you know while you're on holiday? Because some people don't want to be disturbed.
No, definitely. Yeah, let me know. Okay. Let me know the moment we win.
So would I go, Chris, you're like 2 days into your holiday, and I go, Chris, we've won. I need you back here right now.
Yes.
You would find that?
Yeah, possibly.
Okay.
Possibly. Yeah, maybe. Should I play the Malaysian lottery or the Singapore lottery? I don't know if I'm allowed. Let me try it while I'm out there. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's just citizens. I don't know. Let me try it while I'm out there. And if you do go ahead with the pod, I'll send a few voice notes. Okay. Just to get in. Yeah, maybe I'll do one story, one number, based on what's happening out there.
Yeah, you know what you got? Yeah, I'm sure there'd be different news stories out there. I'm not sure.
Yeah, actually, just things I've seen on the trip.
Yeah, I mean that could be inspirational numbers that I feel like we're in a bit of a rut with the numbers that we come. Maybe we just need something
we need
different.
Something different, and we're doing news. Maybe we just need real life things that have happened.
Yeah, that should be good. I mean, you're in a different mindset there. You got sun, sea. Are you going to sea?
Yeah, sea as well. Jungle. It's going to be everything. City life. Singapore, Kuala Lumpur.
Are you going to see some orangutans you mentioned?
Yeah, orangutans.
Why don't you ask them what numbers they would choose, or let them write it out for you?
Yeah.
Actually, how close can you get to them? Are they dangerous?
I hope they're not, because I think we're going to get really up close and personal with these orangutans.
Because
they're very intelligent orangutans.
They're not. They're still stronger than.
Oh yeah. I think I could take one.
A gorilla. What about a silverback gorilla? I mean, they look terrible.
Yeah, they look really. But yeah, so I think orangutans are some of the most intelligent creatures on Earth.
Yeah.
Other than humans and ants.
Wow. I don't want to scare you, but I saw one scary video.
Okay.
I don't know what type of monkey it was, but it looks like somewhere in India or Bangladesh. This guy was kind of with a monkey, and this monkey looked kind of chill, And suddenly it became erratic, and then it kind of seemed to grab him by the head. It jumped, and it's kind of pulled his hair and a big kind of slab of his scalp with it. So he's like, the side of his scalp was pulled off. You just see pink.
Oh my god! Well, thank you for that.
Sorry, I just seen that. So you got to be.
I might never come back. I might never be back on this pod.
Wear a hat.
Yeah, I have got a hat.
But anyway, you know, you're gonna have a great.
Let's do that.
You'll have a great time, Chris. You'll have a great time. And I'll definitely let you know.
And hopefully I stop coughing before I go.
I'll definitely know if we win. Great. So yeah, we'll miss you, Chris, I guess.
Yeah. Well, listen, the show must go on.
The show will go on.
It probably won't be as good without me, but as I say, I'll send in a few voice notes.
Don't let me spoil your whatever you're getting up to. I mean, you might annoy an orangutan or something if you're on your phone.
Yeah, you never know.
Okay, brilliant. I guess again, listeners, just stay happy.
Yeah.
Keep manifesting.
Yeah.
And you know, I think the lottery is going to be the plan for long-term happiness for us.
And all I can say is, spank you very much.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Ciao, ciao.